Hello everybody, Crow back again with another pickups video. It's been about a month or so since my last pickups video, probably more like 6 weeks, and I kind of really wanted to get another pickups video out here before Christmas because I got quite a bit of stuff and I kind of didn't want to add on to this stuff, whatever I may be getting for Christmas. So if anything, I already know some of the stuff I'm going to get. I don't know what the other stuff is. So let's just go through this. I got a lot of start out with DVDs and Blu-rays. DVDs and Blu-rays are, a lot of these DVDs are DVDs that I wanted to get, and Blu-rays are just so cheap, especially Black Friday deals. So let's go to those. Now this first one I've had reserved since I got the last one, and that is Mystery Science Theater 3000 Volume 25. This comes with Robot Holocaust, which is excellent. And here they listed it as Operation Kid Brother, but I know when they actually did the movie, it was Operation 0007, because it actually stars Sean Connery's brother as James Bond's brother in the movie. And then there's Kitten with a Whip, and then Revenge of the Creature. Excellent ones. But I actually ordered, normally I buy these off of Amazon, but this one I bought directly from Shout Factory, because if you did that, you got this disc for free, and this is Commander Cody in Radar Men from the Moon, which is a serial they were watching in Series 1, or Season 1 of MST3K. Now, I didn't get through the whole serial. That's why it says serial in 8.5 chapters, because they never actually did finish the serial. But before a lot of the movies in Season 1, they would show a serial or two from Commander Cody. So you got all those on one disc, and that was a cool bonus thing, I thought. So I got that just because, it was a little bit extra, but it was worth it to have this extra disc. Technically it was free, but I did pay more than it would have been Amazon for it. Next up, I bought Eagle Heart on DVD, starring Chris Elliott. Now, when I found out, I really didn't know about the show. I don't have cable. This actually airs on Cartoon Network, oddly enough, because it's not a cartoon. But it stars Chris Elliott, and I love Chris Elliott. I love him in Get a Life, and this has a lot of elements from Get a Life in it. It's kind of like a Walker Texas Ranger parody kind of deal, but it's very bloody. It's almost like cartoon bloody, but it's just hilarious. And do yourself a favor, check out some clips on YouTube. They've got some clips up from that, and that's what made me actually download some episodes. And when I saw it, I was like, I gotta buy these on DVD. Went and bought this DVD at Fry's for $14. If I didn't mention it, the Mystery Science Theater thing, I think I paid about $50, $55 for it with the bonus disc. You could probably get just the episodes themselves for maybe around $40 in Amazon, $30 to $40. I don't know. You have to check it out because I didn't. Next up, we have The Simpsons Volume 15. Of course, I buy all the Simpsons seasons box sets when they come out, and this one had come out. It's got Otto on it. Actually, just watched through all these episodes, and yeah, very funny. Simpsons, a lot of people say they're not as good as they used to be, but it's still funny, so I still buy it. And here's what's funny is, while I was on vacation about 2 weeks ago, I wound up going to a sushi restaurant out there, and they had TVs on. One of the TVs, they were showing Cartoon, or no, not Cartoon Network, I think it was Boomerang they were showing. And they were showing some episodes of Dexter's Laboratory on that station. I was like, you know what? Dexter's Laboratory, I love this show. I wonder if I could get those on DVD. And sure enough, I got some episodes of Dexter's Laboratory on DVD. I love this show. If you don't know what Dexter's Laboratory is, he's a boy genius. His older sister is always, she's like she's up there at the corner. She's like, always breaks into his lab, ruins his experiments, and it's just a wacky Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Also, what else came out? Futurama Volume 7. I actually have not seen any of these episodes because once Futurama was canceled, I didn't have, it's not on cable. Well, it was on Fox, and that was canceled. They came out with the 4 movies, and then they brought it back to Comedy Central. But since I don't have cable, I don't really go into looking up the episodes for this or whatnot. I just wait for them to come out on DVD. So I will watch these episodes. What's kind of funny was I was actually watching all the old Futurama episodes again. So once I get caught up with those, I'll probably unwrap this and open it up and check it out. recently at Target, actually it's like a couple days ago, I was gonna walk right out of Target and I saw in the end cap they had actually the Lord of the Rings trilogy on Blu-ray for $10 each, every one. And these are the extended versions. I guess these are Target exclusive. The complete extended edition feature on Blu-ray for the first time, exclusive from 11/13/2012 to January 14th, 2013. So I guess they're exclusive at Target up until those dates. But what I thought was funny was that the first time I saw them, I only saw Return of the King, and I didn't see any of the other ones. So I'm like, well, maybe it was only Return of the King, and I'm not going to buy it if it's just the one movie. But sure enough, this time they had, they had The Fellowship of the Ring, they had The Two Towers, and they had Return of the King. And obviously they're re-releasing these now on Blu-ray because The Hobbit is out, and I did see The Hobbit, and it was a fantastic movie and everything. Go see it. I mean, it's worth it. They really did put a lot of effort into those movies, so you can't blame them for that. So, another movie I saw, this was at Fry's, apparently, and I saw this movie once and it was $15, and I'm like, I really want this movie, but I want to pay $15 for it. And then I came back the next time, I was like, you know what, I kind of want that movie now. I should bought it, it's one of my favorite movies. And I was like, I couldn't find it. And then everywhere I went, I didn't see it. So I was like, okay, next time I see it, I'm going to buy it. I saw it again at Fry's Electronics for $14.99. That is The Blues Brothers, an excellent movie. And then it says it has the theatrical and extended versions of the movie. I don't know which version of the movie I had on DVD before, so at least now I got both versions of those. So, excellent movie, The Blues Brothers. Blues Brothers 2000's other crap, but the original, totally classic, totally awesome. And I think it's kind of one of those timeless movies too, even though it does obviously take place in the 80s. Next up, we got Donnie Darko. Now the price tag on this says $10.99, but I bought this at Fry's. It was on sale for $5. Donnie Darko, an excellent movie. I'm not going to pass it up for $5, so there you go. And then here's another movie I saw. I was like, I've been looking for this, waiting for this movie to come out on Blu-ray, and when I saw it, I was like, oh hell yes, I'm buying this movie. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's one of those movies I like more and more over time for some reason. I just, it's just so wacky and out there. I was kind of hoping they had a Bogus Journey too, but they didn't have that. But I think that'll come along soon enough because Bill and Ted 3 supposedly is coming out. Maybe even next year, maybe what I've heard. But this was $12. This was a no-brainer for me. Pick it up, buy it for that price, definitely. Next we have Napoleon Dynamite. Now again, the price on this is $10.99, Fry's Electronics. I paid $5 for this. Napoleon Dynamite, one of those weird, quirky, and funny movies. Definitely had to get this. So there's that. You know what? Honestly, I don't remember where I know my wife picked this up. It couldn't have cost more than $4 or $5. The Last Airbender. Never saw it, so I'm really kind of interested in seeing this. It might not be that good, but I'm still interested in kind of seeing this, and for the price it was, can't blame her for picking them up. Next up, I have 8 movies here. My wife picked up on Black Friday, and this is the entire Harry Potter series. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I don't know if these are in order. No, they're not in order. We have the Sorcerer's Stone, the Goblet of Fire, Chamber of Secrets. This is Deathly Hallows Part 2. Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows Part 1, and The Prisoner of Azkaban, which actually happens to be my favorite one. Actually, this isn't a Harry Potter movie. So those are the 8 Harry Potter movies. They were at Walmart on Black Friday for like $3.86 a piece. So I was like, pick up all the movies if you can. I was like, even if you can't find all the movies, pick up as many as you can, because these are good movies, and they're worth having, I think, especially for that price. And then this last one was at Walmart as well for that same price, $3.86. The Princess Bride, it's another classic. It's got Fred Savage. Lots of quotes from this movie actually still being quoted today. My name's Inigo Magnolia, or whatever his name is. You killed my father, prepare to die. I can't remember what he said. And then there was the guy, Andre the Giant's in this movie. Shit, I just made a fool of myself because I can't remember any of the quotes from the movie. Anyway, those are all the DVDs and Blu-rays. So let me. So another thing I bought. This is now we're getting into gaming related stuff. Even though it may not seem gaming related at first, but at Goodwill I picked up a bunch of. These used to have cassettes. Cassettes at Goodwill, audio cassettes, or tape cassettes as you were. They were like 49 cents a piece at Goodwill. So I bought a whole bunch of cassettes, but I threw away all the cassettes I bought. I was looking for specifically good cases like this. And I've also modified these cases, taking out the little prongs that hold the holes in there. I've kind of used the Dremel, kind of chivied those down really quick. Now why would I do that, you might ask? Well, now I got me some cases for Astrocade games. Because these games are exactly the same size as cassette tapes. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to get some empty cassette tape holders and use those as cases. So I did that, and these are extra ones I bought. It's something I always wanted to do, and I just went ahead and finally did it. Another thing I bought, this is actually from Nintendo.com. I bought a bunch of extra, these are Nintendo DS game cases, but they're the red ones. Now you might be wondering, why did I buy red Nintendo DS cases? And I actually bought 15 of these. And why, you might ask? Well, I'm modding them, and I've actually got one almost done, kind of like an experimental stage. I'm turning them into Virtual Boy cases, like this one you see here. So this is, they printed out this label. That was the cover project.net, I think, had all these covers specifically for this design case. And I've also used a Dremel and some other stuff, and you know, the cartridge is kind of loose in there. I'm still working on that. But open it up, and we got a game in there with and then a place for the manual, if I've got those, and you know, kind of cut out an area for the game to fit in there. Kind of crappy. I just did that really quickly on this one. Got more felt. Then I'll eventually glue all that in there. But you got a nice place for my Virtual Boy games now, and I got covers printed out for all of these and everything. I just need, basically I'm at the point where now I just need to cut out all the felt and glue it in, and that should be a done project. Give me 1 minute while I clear some stuff off and I can get to the next thing. Alright, next up I got some stuff my wife bought. Now, some of this stuff I can't really show video footage of. These are all game related stuff, strictly from now on. I think she bought this at Five Below, and that's games around the world. I haven't opened this up, so I haven't really captured footage of it. But it looks just like, it just says 16 mini games on the back. So we got yeah, games around the world. So I guess it's just mini games with a global worldly theme. For the 3DS, she got, I guess from Five Below, for $5. Deca Sports Extreme, 10 complete 3D sporting events. So yeah, we got basketball, sport, blowgun, tennis, snowball fight, ice hockey, trampoline, wasn't aware that was a sport, or an extreme sport, snowmobile racing, bowling, sumo wrestling, and soccer. Bowling, it's not really an extreme sport, is it? Anyway, if I had a 3DS, which I might pick up one sometime in the near future, not in the near future, sometime in the future, let's just say, I might want to try out that bowling one. That's super interesting. From Goodwill, she picked up Mod Nation Racers for the PSP. Now this is still sealed, but I would have opened this up and captured footage from it. However, I'm due to a certain incident that happened a week and a half ago. I am currently without a working PSP at the moment. I should be buying a new one within the next week, just so I can put my PSP collection to good use again. I'm actually going to get a Model 3000 this time. That way I could hook it up to the TV. I had a Model 1001 before, and you can't hook those up to the TV. Also, she bought Beautiful Joe 2. Now, I went to capture footage for this, but this desk is really scratched up. Something bad. So, it doesn't look like it's anything too bad that can't be taken out if I take it to like a disc replay to have it buffed out. But I just can't get it to load right now. But I've played this before. It's a fun side-scrolling game that takes advantage of kind of film techniques to create some superpowers like slow motion and fast Mach speed, And this one adds in, I know, zoom, where you could zoom in and do something. I really don't quite remember. But now we're getting to the point to where I can show you some game footage. From Goodwill for $1.99, we have WCW Mayhem. And it's a wrestling game. I'm not too big on wrestling games, but it seems like it could be fun. Looks like there's a lot of options. I really don't recognize half the wrestlers in the game. I really haven't followed wrestling since the mid-90s. And even then, I wasn't really following wrestling. So yeah, we got WCW Mayhem. Not bad for $1.99.
The only wrestler I can remember that could hurt a guy like that was me. But Tony, I don't have to remind you how great I was, or do I?
Macho Man really laid into him with that one.
I can't believe it. That was incredible.
Belly-to-belly suplex! What are we going to see next?
This actually looked like a super generic game, and it kind of is. We have Sports Superbike 2. I played this a little while. This was $1.99. This game actually came out in 2002, so it came out like well after the PS2 was out. And even the original game, Sports Superbike, came out in like 1999 or 2000 or something like that. But it just seems like a cut and dry bike racing game. Really nothing too fancy to it. And truth be known, in this footage you may be watching, I may be doing it really badly. And that's because when I was recording this footage, I was like falling half asleep, and the game was literally not doing anything to wake me up. So I was falling asleep and would wake up when the controller shook because I just crashed into a wall. So it's kind of funny. So yeah, I probably didn't pause in the last one, but here's some footage of that game. And next up we got TNN Motorsports Hardcore 4x4. Now I keep seeing this game everywhere in budget bins, but this came from Goodwill. It was $1.99. Didn't seem too bad. The thing that really annoyed me in this game was that when you're driving, the camera keeps wobbling up and down because of all the hills. And I don't know if it was just the mood I was in or not, but it was really off-putting. I don't want to say it was making me like nauseous, but it was getting close to it. No game's ever done that to me before. So it was just really weird. It was really messing with my eyes when the camera would do that. So I'm not going to be playing this game all too often, I don't think. And yeah, I was just trying to get through a race, and it's kind of weird because there seems like there's places you can go, but you can't go there. You're all walled in by canyon walls and fences and stuff. The path seems really narrow to begin with, so, but you know, it is what it is, so there's some footage of that.
Bodacious.
Alright, I think it was a couple weeks ago I went to Video Games Etc. I needed to stop at my mom's house or something like that, and that place is right there, so I stopped by. I only picked up a couple things. But one of the things I finally wound up buying is this Sega Sports Pad, which is basically just a trackball controller. Paid $12.99 for it, and I bought it just so I could have it because there's certain Sega Master System games that require this controller, and they're mainly sports games, and I don't know why. I mean, there's some games that seem like they could really benefit from a trackball controller, yet it's only certain sports games that use it. And from what I understand, they don't even control that great with this controller. but it's just something I wanted to have so I could at least play those games if I ever get the itch to. So there's that. I also picked up for the Commodore 64 Choplifter. Now they had 2 copies of this Choplifter, and they were both $3.99. But what I found odd about it was that the cartridges were 2 different shapes. One was this shape, and the other one was just a slightly different shape. It almost seemed to have the same label and everything. As for the game itself, it's actually kind of disappointing on the Commodore 64. The controls seemed really sluggish. Since you only had the one button, turning the chopper around to drop bombs and shoot and everything seemed like a major chore. And the sound wasn't even that great on it. So yeah, it's kind of, and not very colorful. Yeah, I don't know what else I could say about it, but here's some footage of it. Alright, next up, for the Atari 5200 from Video Games Etc. I bought Gyrus. It was a game they had there that I did not have, so I plopped down the $11.99 they're asking for to pick this up. And you know what? I'm familiar with Gyrus. I'm not super familiar with it. It wasn't a game I played a whole lot. So I played it a bit. It seemed pretty decent. Graphics seemed really blocky, but still seemed really playable. Had some great music and chimes and sound effects in it and everything. However, the controller didn't work too, the standard Atari 5200 controller didn't work too bad, although it is still a little bit sluggish to use, especially where the fire buttons are. It's a little bit uncomfortable to use that in that way. So I was kind of really hoping the Atari 5200 trackball would work with the game, and I plugged it in, and it didn't work. The trackball was not supported with it, and it would have been awesome. It would have played a lot more like Tempest, spinning the trackball to rotate around the screen and everything. It would have made the game 10,000 times better. But unfortunately, it doesn't work. So anyway, it's a great game anyway, but maybe on a different system just because of the controller. So there's some footage. Alright, so as I may have mentioned previously, I was in Arizona for a week, 2 weeks ago, and one of the things I remember from the All Gen Gamers podcast is that there's a place in Arizona, specifically Phoenix, Tucson area, called Bookman's. Now what I didn't know is there's actually 4 Bookmans. So I actually stopped at 2 of the Bookmans and picked up a couple of games there. But first, the thing I picked up were all of these Super Nintendo holders. They're basically the case cover protectors that just slide on the bottom. And actually I bought 12 of them because they had 3 boxes of them. Each box had 4 of them in there. And they were 4 for $1, which was a quarter each, which is cheaper than what I usually pay for them. I usually we're paying about 50 cents for each one of these. And I had the goal of, maybe getting these on every single one of my Super Nintendo games. But what I may do in the future is may buy a whole bunch of those Universal cases from this website I can't remember the name of. And you can buy them, the cases, you buy them in bulk in like packs of 100. You buy 100 cases for like $42, and it seems like a really good price for them. You could put your own cover inserts and everything for them. And that's something I might want to do in the future, and that would render these things useless, I think. But in the meantime, I'm still going to collect them. So what else did I buy from Bookman's? I didn't buy too many games there, but first of all, I'm going to show off. I bought The Rocketeer for the Super Nintendo for $4. It was a game I didn't have, and I remember seeing screenshots of this game thinking, wow, those screenshots are pretty awesome. But I kept hearing the game sucked, and I played the game, and yes, the game sucks. I can't believe it. I couldn't even figure out how to pass the first level. But thankfully, there is a simple code you could do at the title screen that brings you to a stage select. I got to play all the stages. And it's basically, yeah, they're so simple, but I could not figure out how to play some of them. Like racing around in a circle. That's 3 of the levels are just racing around in a circle. And it shows you like 2 different views of it, and I can't figure out which one I'm supposed to be looking at. And then there's, you know, a third-person kind of behind-the-shoulder shooter where you run back and forth and shoot bad guys. A couple of shoot-'em-up stages that are really poorly done. It's just a crappy game. Here's some footage of it. The next thing I found at Bookman's was Cyborg Hunter for the Sega Master System, and it was a Master System game I didn't have. So I don't know if I mentioned it was $6. It's got everything in it. It was in really good condition. So I bought it, played it. It's like a side-scrolling kind of adventure game. The thing that sucks about it, though, is you have to find all your weapons in the game and everything. I couldn't get past the first area because it seemed like I couldn't really get the pattern of punching the guys. I don't have a gun. You have to walk up to them and punch them. You have to get really close to them and time it just right to punch them, it seems like. And then you get a shield. You go to the next area, supposedly you get a gun. The thing I really liked about the game was it had 2 perspectives. You had your side-scrolling area at the bottom, and then the upper left-hand corner, it was like a 3-dimensional view of what your character was looking at as you were running down the hall. So I thought that was a really cool concept, and there's some footage of that. Also at Bookman's for $4 I picked up Big Mother Truckers. I was interested in this game but never played it. And it's mainly because there was a truck racing game in Sega, a Sega arcade truck racing game that I played 1 or 2 times. I really thought was cool. And this is supposedly like a truck racing game. But it's a little bit more fleshed out than that. It's more like an RPG. The whole goal of the game is you have 30 days to collect as much money as you can, so you can earn your trucking business from your mom or something like that. And there's like truck jackers that try and jump on your truck and everything. You have to find the best cargo. You have to buy the best cargo at the lowest price to find a place to drop it off and, you know, get the best price for it. There's other races, but the gameplay itself, you know, felt a little bit Sega-ish. It did feel like a little bit like a Sega game, but not as well toned as a Sega game, I guess I want to say. Anyway, could be fun. That's Big Mother Truckers.
Truck on through the sunshine, truck on through the rain.
From rotting potatoes, benzene, tasty Bookman agents, and other things you don't want to know about, and heat it all up before processing it through an old machine. The result is Captain Barnacle's Catch of the Day marine life-based foodstuffs.
Next up, for $5, I had to pick up BMX XXX, mainly because of the controversy that surrounded this game. It was $5 and had everything in it, so I figured, why not, I'll pick up this game. The controversy was this was originally supposed to be a Dave Mirra BMX biking game, But Acclaim decided that the game wasn't going to sell that good. So they wanted to throw in this XXX thing there. But what they basically did was throw in video footage of strippers and follow up the language some in the game and add some little bit of goofy stuff. It didn't make the game any better. I played it. It was kind of ridiculous, kind of really hard to control. Kept falling off my bike. Granted, I'm not great at these games anyway. But it's kind of disappointing. And I threw in a code just to unlock everything and see the videos. There's no nudity in this game at all, so it's kind of really a letdown because then they have these video footage of strippers in the game, but then they have a BMX XXX logo covering up the naughty bits, as it were. So why even have the M logo on it? I mean, this is rated M for mature, and yet even M for mature has got to be censored. So kind of really a letdown game. It's no wonder people were pissed off at this game when it was released. Footage.
Watch it! You'll bust a nut! Watch it! You'll bust a nut! Watch it! You'll bust a nut!
Also at Bookman's, I found a game I was kind of looking for a while. And it's mainly because I had this game, and then I realized, you know what, I really like this game. It's one of my favorite games. In fact, it's my favorite game. Well, it's one of my favorite games in the Burnout series. Actually, it's the Burnout game that first made me drop my jaw when I saw it, video footage of it. So that is Burnout 3. I like this one. This is way better, in my opinion, than Burnout Revenge. The best thing about this game, crash mode. Now, Burnout Revenge did have a crash mode, but I don't think it was nearly as good as this one. This has got like 101 different scenarios. 8 players can take their turns. I've gone to gaming nights where I brought this game and we playing 8 players, and everybody would take their turn, and it was just awesome. So yeah, I mean, this had like, and they really haven't brought that back properly since then. They brought it back for Burnout Revenge, but they kind of made it very bizarre where you had like a target car, and they made the, I don't know, they made it where you could explode your car multiple times, and it was just a really big turnoff for me. But yeah, even in the regular game, when you crash, you could kind of subtly, what's the word I'm like, influence the direction of your car and maybe take other people out while you're getting taken out. I really liked it. It was a really cool concept, and yeah, it's Burnout 3 Takedown. I mean, it doesn't play as good as it used to, because they really fine-tuned the driving mechanic and everything, especially in the newer games. But it still was really, really fun to play, playing it for the short time I did for capturing footage. So there is that footage. Alright, next up I got a couple of PS3 games, and each one of these was bought at a different location. First off, I bought, well actually I said I was going to buy this, and then my wife bought it for me at Toys R Us because she happened to be there at the time. And I was looking for this game at Fry's Electronics and they didn't have it, but they happened to have it at Toys R Us, I believe, for $30. Midway Arcade Origins. This has got like 30 games in it, and just a whole bunch of games. When I saw the list, I was like, holy crap, these were all games I remember playing in the arcade. I have to get this game. And I'm not disappointed either, because I'm not sure if you could change the controls or not, but the controls seem pretty dead on to what I would have wanted, mapped to the PS3 controller. But you could go into the game settings and change the settings of the games if you wanted to, and set them to free play, or do some challenges or something like that. That was really good. But let's see what we got on here. Joust, excellent game. Defender, Rampage, Total Carnage, Gauntlet, 720 Degrees, APB, Arch Rivals, Bubbles, Championship Sprint, Tournament Cyberball 2072, Defender 2, Gauntlet 2, Joust 2, Marble Madness, Pit Fighter, Rampart, Roboton 2084, Root Bear Tapper, Satan's Hollow, Sinistar, Smash TV, Spy Hunter, Spy Hunter 2, Super Off-Road, Super Sprint, Tubin, Vindicators Part 2, Wizard of War, Xenophobe, and Zybots, at least on this disc. I mean, I really haven't gotten into it. There may be hidden games, I don't know about that. But like, Wizard of War, love that game. Super Off-Road, I played that game a shit ton in the arcade. Same thing with Super Sprint. Smash TV, excellent, I love that game. Roboton 2084, I mean, Marvel Madness, I love that game on the, I used to play it all the time on the Commodore 64. The only thing that sucks though, is it's really hard to play without a trackball. I played it with the trackball and it's great, but take that trackball away, the game becomes more difficult. Yeah. Just what else do we see here? Rampage, excellent game. Joust, Joust, and Joust 2, that was never even released. So it's fun to try out these games, you know, even the ones that you've never had a chance to play. So there's some footage of that.
Good luck. You'll need it.
Your bones will lie in a content of war.
Oh, but when I was at Fry's, I said I couldn't find Midway Arcade Origins, but I did find another game, and it is Blaze Blue Continue and Shift Extend. And this game had been out for a while. This is the, what does it say? It's a box set. It's a deluxe edition. It's a limited edition. It doesn't say that on the front. Now, I don't know if this was only released in limited edition or not, but I saw this. It was limited edition. I have it for the Xbox 360, but this was 20 bucks. I was like, I gotta get this for 20 bucks, and I played it. And well, before I get into that, it comes with art collection book, a soundtrack CD, and a calendar. Unfortunately, the calendar is really no good anymore. It was for 2012. But it'll just stay in this box, I guess. But I went and popped this in to get footage for it. And I wound up playing this thing for over an hour. I got hooked on it. Anyway, it looks great. The sprites and everything, the animations, the characters. Oh wow, I just love this game. Even though I don't really know how to play it. I just was kind of learning stuff as I was going along playing the game. Anyway, here's some footage of it. I just love it.
Man, you've got guts.
Makoto, win! Rebel 2, action! Keiko!
Alright, this next PS3 game actually has a little bit of story behind it, and that is Under Defeat HD Deluxe Edition. Now, I first heard about this game from Classic Game Room, and he was reviewing the Japanese version of the game, because at the time he was reviewing it, it didn't come out in the US at all. He's like, this is an awesome game, it's only out in Japan, blah, 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 blah. But then, a couple weeks ago, maybe it was a month ago, I don't really, within the last month, he reviewed this game. He's like, it's in the US. It's Under Defeat, and I looked at it and I was like, this game looks awesome, I have to get this game. This doesn't look like the type of game, a traditional PS3 game that's high budget and everything. This looks like a really awesome, highly detailed graphic shooter with the twist that you can angle the direction of your ship and shoot in slightly different directions. At least, 45 degrees towards the left or to the right. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to look for this game. I looked it up. Came out last month in in November it came out. So while I was at Fry's, I was also looking for this game. They didn't have it. So I had to go to Target, went to Target. Of course, Target didn't have it. I didn't expect Target to have it. But next target is GameStop. I'm like, okay, GameStop will at least have heard of the game. So I go there and I ask them, I'm looking for this game, Under Defeat HD. I didn't even tell them HD. So they're like, they looked it up in their computers. Oh, that game doesn't exist. They're telling me the game doesn't exist because it's not in their system. Which just an utter fail on GameStop's part, because they're a gaming specialty store. Okay, now granted they don't specialize in anything but current generation games, but to not even know about a PS3 game that came out less than a month ago is just an utter fail. How could they let something like that slip through the cracks? So when I got home, I went on Amazon and purchased the game. I can't even remember what I paid for it. It was like somewhere between $20 and $30. And I got it really quickly too. I'm almost tempted to take this game back to GameStop and say, hey, you know what? Can you look up this game? Do you have this game? They're going to say, no, that game doesn't exist. I'm going to be like, what the hell do I have here then? Kind of tempted to do that, but it's not worth a trip to do that. So anyway, the game itself is really fun. It does have its drawbacks though. Like, it really does suffer from slowdown. It really does. Kind of disappointing for a PS3 game. You'd think that there wouldn't be any slowdown in a PS3 game, but yeah, it does have slowdown. So that's kind of crappy, you know? Especially for a shoot 'em up like this. But other than that, I got what I expected. I'm going to have to be playing this a lot more, because I got hooked on it a little bit when I was playing it. There's some footage of it. Alright, finally, I had won an auction on eBay, and it was actually a lot of 20 TI-99 cartridges and various manuals and stuff. Now, I say cartridges because they weren't all games. They were roughly half games and half software I wasn't going to be interested in. But I won the auction for about 20 bucks, so I figured, you know, ignoring the software cartridges and everything, that I paid about $2 per game. And so that isn't too bad. First of all, here's the software I got. This was a, I guess there's 21 cartridges, because I forgot there's a cartridge in this. This is a early reading command module. It came with the box and the instruction manual and everything on that one. And it got some various manuals for some of these cartridges coming up here. So let's see, what did I get here? These aren't game related. We got home finance decisions, we got physical fitness, we got tax investment record keeping, we got scholastic spelling level 6, and we got securities analysis, we got the music maker, which oddly enough I couldn't figure out how to make any music with it. Guess you need the manual for that one. Statistics, we got personal report generator. So you know what, if you don't know how to use Access or Excel, you got this then. Seem to be somewhere they shouldn't be. Household budget management. There, now I won't let my budget get out of hand again. Anyway, now we got games. First game we got here, we got Computer Math Games 6. Now these are games, they're math related. This did come with the manual. So, let's see if I can even remember this now. Yeah, basically it's just math games. You select the difficulty and you play the game. There's no graphics reminding me how this works. So I will let the footage speak for itself. It's like math games. You get the math question right and you win the game. If I'm remembering correctly, there are mostly 2 or more player versions of these games. Anyway, there's some footage of it. Next up, we got Video Chess. This one also came with an instruction manual. I would just say this is just flat out chess, but it did seem to come with quite a bit of options where you could set up certain scenarios beforehand and, you know, just play chess. Now, I kind of suck at chess, and when I was playing this, I just was like moving pieces without thinking of the consequences and lost pretty quickly. So, yeah, it's just video chess. It is what it is, and you really can't really expect too much more from it. But I did think there were more options than I was expecting. I was just expecting flat out chess, but you got the ability to set up the board any way you want to and everything. So that was kind of interesting, and there's the footage of that. Alright, the rest of these just flat out games, fun games in fact. And first we got Tombstone City. Tombstone City. I got the actual manual for this. This is the last manual I have for any game. This was a really weird game. You had like a safe zone in the middle, and you had to trek out maybe and shoot these weird things that were coming out. And there's tumbleweeds going around. It was like a futuristic Tombstone City game. Oh, it says Tombstone City in the 21st century here on the label, so yeah. Very bizarre game. Also one of the least favorite games of this bunch that I played. It just wasn't that fun. Every time you shoot something, they turn into a tombstone, preventing you from going to that spot again. So yeah, there's that, and I'm looking at this hair that's just floating in the air right in front of me, but not far enough to where I can grab it. Anyway, there's some footage of that Tombstone City game. Alright, next up we have Hustle, and this was actually quite a fun game. I really didn't know what to expect when I started playing it, but what was really weird was like, Hustle, huh? And I popped it in, you know, started up the game, and the title screen had a little horse running across the screen. I was like, oh, this must be horse racing. Wrong. This was like one of those snake games, two-player snake games, and if you play one player, play against a computer. But you basically run around the screen, and the trick is that there's these scores that show up on the screen, and depending on the mode, they either stay the same value, or as time goes on, they decrease or increase in value. And the goal is to last the whole time limit, and whoever has the most points at the end wins. If you happen to destroy yourself by running into yours or somebody else's tail, the points that are on the screen still automatically get sent to the other player. So it was kind of a fun game. I really liked this one. So some footage of Hustle. Alright, next up we got Blasto. Now this was kind of an unusual game because I figured out what I needed to do. I think I figured out what I needed to do, and I kept thinking to myself, no, there's got to be more to this game than this, because this is kind of weird. And basically what you do is you run around, you drive around, tank around a minefield, and shoot the mines, and try and shoot as many mines as you can, and they blow up, and if there's mines next to them, they blow up, and so on, cause a chain reaction. But I think the goal of the game is just to score as many points as you can before timer runs out. And that's pretty much all there is to the game. If you're playing a two-player game, I guess you have to watch out for the other people's explosions. But other than that, as a one-player game, it seems like this is the kind of game that would be way more fun as a two-player game than a one-player game. But I only played this in a one-player mode, and here's some footage of that. Alright, next up we have Hunt the Wumpus. Now, I think this was a game that a lot of people were recommending, I find, and it was in the lot. Also, this was one of the, I like the name of the game, Hunt the Wumpus, and it was kind of one of the deciding factors on me bidding on this lot. I really didn't know what this game was going to be on. What I found interesting is that you can start the game up in one of 3 languages, so I thought that was kind of unusual. But when you do play the game without instructions, it took me a while to figure out how to play the game. But I did figure it out. I did manage to beat it a time or two. But basically, you're running around a maze, and you have to figure out where the Wumpus is without actually going to the square the Wumpus is. And once you determine the square the spot the Wumpus is in, you have to load your arrow up and shoot in that direction. And I guess if you hit them, you win, and if you miss them, you get eaten by the Wumpus. And also, if you happen to walk into the Wumpus, you get eaten by the Wumpus. There's also spots on the map where there's pits, and you could fall into a pit and just lose the game that way too. However, there are clues when you're running around the map. As far as I can tell, if it's a double green line around the spot you're currently at, it means there's a pit in one direction away. And then if you run into where there's a red dot right in the middle of the spot, that means that the Wumpus is either 1 or 2 spots away. They start 2 spots away and then 1 spot away and then the Wumpus. So you basically have to run around and deduce where the Wumpus is and all the pits are, avoid the pits, and find out where the Wumpus is, load your arrow and shoot and kill him. It's kind of a fun game, and it kind of reminds me of this Dungeons and Dragons handheld my grandfather used to have, where it was like the same principle. He had to find an arrow, avoid the pits, and slay the dragon with the arrow. Same concept, really fun game. There's Hunt the Wumpus. Alright, next up we have a kind of not very entertaining game. It's Blackjack and Poker. I don't know what I could really say about this. It's just Blackjack and Poker. You bet, you call, you do it. Nothing really noteworthy to say, so here's some footage of that. I'm not really going to go into detail on that. Alright, and next up is a game I have absolutely no idea how to play. I know this is on the Intellivision as well. Microsurgeon. And you basically just, I guess you're in the guy's body and you're zapping stuff away. Don't know what I was supposed to be shooting or whatnot. Seemed like I should have been shooting the green things, but they weren't dying when I shot them. Just other stuff would get destroyed. I really don't know how to play this game at all. And I wound up killing the patient. You know what? It just occurred to me this is a precursor to Trauma Center Under the Knife for the Wii and the DS and stuff. Except it's, you know, it's kind of funny. You see like different views. What I really like about this version though is you see the guy in the bed and you see the nurses checking up on him and stuff. I thought that was quite amusing. Anyway, there's some footage of Microsurgeon by iMagic, no less. Next up, and also included in all this package, this is Buck Rogers' Planet of Zoom. Now I have this on, yes, I have it on the Atari 5200. I also have it on the ColecoVision. I think I'm looking. Maybe I don't have it on. No, I do have it. I was just looking in the wrong spot. I think I might have this on the Atari. No, I don't think I have it on the Atari 2600. No, I think I don't have it on the Atari Switch. But this is basically the same game. It's just it just seemed harder, a little bit harder for some reason. When I would get the first stage, you're basically just, you know, going in between the little, you know, markers or whatever, getting energy or whatnot. And I'm watching the cat because, okay, I was worried he might start chewing the electrical cord, but he decided not to. What a brilliant little bastard. What was I saying? But when I get to the second level, there's these guys that come out, and I know you're supposed to shoot them, but I could not for the life shoot any one of them. It seemed like my bullets never hit them. So I don't know what is going on with this game, but I could not shoot one thing in it. So I'm probably playing the game wrong. Anyway, here's some footage of that. Next up, we have a game called Amazing. Now, other than the fact that I knew this would be involving mazes, I really didn't know what to expect from it. But what it is you take the control of a mouse, and if you have a two-player, they would control the other mouse, and you navigate the maze, avoiding cats if you so choose to have the cats in the maze with you. But what I found interesting is that there's a couple different game modes. First game mode is you just try to escape the maze, and the other game mode is you have to collect all these pieces of cheese before you escape the maze. And you can set up how many cats, 1 or 2 cats, control whether or not the cats are dumb or smart, set up whether the maze is invisible or not. Lots of different options here. It's an okay game, it really is. And there's some footage of that. Next up, we have the game that really made me want to win this auction. This was a game I was going to absolutely want for the TI-99 because I knew of its existence, at least from Intellivision Dude, because he has a box copy of this game, but unfortunately no TI-99 like I do now. That is Burger Time. Burger Time on the TI-99. Burger Time is probably my favorite arcade game of all time. And this version is okay. The graphics look okay. What is not okay is that the enemies that run around the screen, they don't follow the patterns they're supposed to. So I kept trying to lead the creatures to certain places, but they just don't follow the same patterns they would follow in almost any other version of the game I've played. So that's a downside. Other than that, the game is really well done for the TI-99. Of course, it's not arcade perfect. It's far from arcade perfect, but it's much better than some of the other versions of Burger Time I've played. So, especially the Atari 2600 version. So anyway, there's Burger Time for the TI-99. Alright everybody, I am inserting this voiceover while I'm editing because I realized I'd actually forgotten to show a game in the TI-99 lot, and that is Car Wars. And it plays very similarly to Dodge 'em on the Atari 2600. And I think it was an arcade game by maybe a different name, and I think it goes by a couple other names. But I'm just going to quickly show some footage of that here. You'll pretty much get the idea of what the game is all about. So here's some footage of Car Wars on the TI-99. Lastly, this is a game I saved last on purpose, and that is Return to Pirate's Isle. And the reason I saved this for last is because it's a graphical text adventure game. And I could not figure out how to do anything in the game. Basically what was happening is I would the game starts you out waking up or something, and you can't see anything. It's so dark. It's dark, but it's not dark enough where you can't see, but everything you see is blurry. Well, obviously, I think I need to find glasses and put them on. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out how to do that. And, any command I would put in, it would say, oh, you can't see anything. Well, how am I supposed to find my glasses if I can't see anything? I feel. Oh, you feel a mattress. It's soft. Okay. And then I was like, well, walk this way. And any direction I walk north, I walk south, I walk east, I walk west, I would fall to my death. I didn't know how to start the game. I didn't know how to get the game going. But it is a graphical text adventure. And I'm just going to show quick footage of this. Just because I don't know why. You're not going to see much. Here it is. That's everything. That's all the games I picked up over the last 6 weeks, just about. I don't know when the next video will be, but it'll be sometime in the future. You can be sure of that. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.